Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod, Belgium's top-rated podcast.
Forgot he needs a microphone to
Usually
talk on
I
this
get
show.
a heads up. That's number 2.
Yeah, well, we were running around.
You were gabbing a lot.
Well, and thank God Tom drinks black coffee because I was coffee boy this morning. And
what is
like,
up, by the way?
Yeah. The notorious LMP is like 2 weeks, like just a total. This would be like no call show. Off, like no call off, no
right.
show.
This is the kind of stuff you
get points for.
Yeah.
At like the union.
I think we're going to have to put it in a record.
Yeah. No call off, no show.
No show. Yeah. No call,
just like,
no
hey,
show.
you know.
What's up?
It's Tuesday. I got nothing to do, right?
Right.
Notorious LMP not in the house.
And like, no call.
No call off, no show, man.
No call, no show.
That's going to be points at the mill.
7:27. Kevin's like, I need coffee. Where's Lindsay?
Yeah, right.
I just said, I guess I'm getting the
I was
coffee.
thinking,
I did not say that.
Where's the notorious LMP?
Thanks, John.
The star of the show. That's
yes.
what I said.
Fan favorite.
Kevin's like, where's my coffee?
You guys are crazy. Not do that.
This isn't the first time he's done something like this.
Look, we're spoiled, right? Lindsay and Jill are very nice to us, and they get us our coffee in the morning. But we didn't ask that to happen. They're just nice enough to do that.
It is nice. Yeah.
I don't mind doing it.
Hey, chat's already blowing up, man.
Oh, really?
With our about our guest.
Yeah.
We have an exciting guest
nice
today.
Are we inviting a person running against me onto my own show?
Well, you've invited Todd Young, too, and he just, you know.
I wasn't serious about that one, though. By the way, we made a peace treaty. I'm not going to be unprofessional towards James.
Not that you would anyway.
No, but I want to go in. I want James to realize that we have a peace treaty.
Oh, so he doesn't think it's like
James is listening right now.
It's an ambush, James.
We're going in, and we're going to be nice. We're going to probe James's mind. We want to ask him questions that he would normally get asked, and talk about some of his frustrations and favorite days on the campaign trail. James and I know each other fairly well too. We campaigned together on one of our tours.
I was
this
just
summer.
going to say the initial job was it Jobs
Who's Your
Tour?
Heartland? Who's Your Heartland? Tour.
Okay, thank you, Drew Anderson, for all these tour names. But
so
you guys were. I remember it was you, him, and the empty Todd Young seat.
Yep. Empty Todd Young seat.
Yeah.
And then James, who's James, and then what's his name? The candidate for Secretary of State was with us also. His last name's Maurer. I know that. I forgot his first name, but he was on the tour with us also.
So we're going to have some libertarians a libertarian in the house later.
Man, check this out. So I was walking the dogs last night, like a good dog owner, right?
Yes.
And then I'm walking through my neighborhood, obviously.
And Tom's got this really amazing parkway in the middle that spans blocks and blocks and blocks. So it's really, really good for dog walking.
I was into the walk. So I do a couple miles with dogs, and then I'm pretty far away from my house. I don't want to be specific on where I was because there's this one house. I've been mayor a long time, obviously, and I know which houses usually put up yard signs and which houses usually don't put up yard signs.
In your neighborhood?
Right.
Yeah.
I know the people that don't like me.
Sure.
I know the people that put up signs every time. And I walked by a house last night, and I got a big smile on my face.
Really?
It was a person that can't stand me as mayor. And
can't stand you?
Mm-hmm. I know.
You know this.
Never put up a sign. Would never put up my opponent's sign, but never would put up my sign. Mm-hmm. This person, who I'm going to shall remain
nameless,
unidentified, put up my McDermott for Indiana sign.
Very nice.
And I was like, wow, that stunned me in a happy way.
I think that's great.
I know
your neighbors support you. By the way, I have.
She might be just trying to get rid of me.
Well, that's the alternate theory.
Yeah, she's like. By the way, I've noticed that some of my enemies, we had one of my city enemies endorse me at the council meeting last night.
Yes, this gentleman,
wish me well.
Ken R., who has been really a vocal opponent of a bridge project.
Right.
And he was like, from one deadhead to another,
yeah,
I wish you well in your Senate race.
And he's a Navy guy, too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He called me a bubblehead.
Oh, nice. Well,
and he was serious. By the way, I was nice to him at Mayor's Night a couple nights before that.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate you, Ken. I know that you're beating me up, and I know that you're pissed about this project that we're moving on. But I appreciate
it's an honest disagreement.
Yeah, and I'm I appreciate you. I appreciate that Hammond has you as a resident. I think that your ideas are important. It's just we don't agree on this one. But I like your passion. I appreciate what you're doing for your city. It's
I knew you were serious about it.
I was
because
serious.
You're right. You've said this. You said that Hammond's lucky that it has so many people that care so much about the city.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
He and I see differently on this project. That doesn't mean I hate him. It doesn't mean that I wish ill upon him. And so I said that the other day during Mayor's Night when I was getting beat up. And he returned a favor in front of the council during the debate when we were doing our budget. he wished me well, and it sounded like he was being serious. He could be just trying to get rid of me also.
He's like, man, if I get rid of the mayor, that bridge project will never happen.
That's right. The next mayor will buckle. He's like,
I'm going to get to the next mayor.
I can't get to this guy ain't going to buckle, so we got to get him elected to the Senate. Right. So anyway, yeah, even my enemies are supporting me, which is interesting.
Well, John, I want to talk a little bit about this quote-unquote quiz show that occurred on Friday. By the way, great job by Steve Kellogg, our business manager, Johnny Cantrell, of course, Tom's former law partner and current sponsor, and then Phil Talon,
and my brother,
and also a former sponsor. And
yeah,
Phil's never been a sponsor.
I
never
think
supported.
Aaron expected to be a sponsor. Like he pays one time and for like the next 7 seasons.
He gets to come
on
at least once a season.
We got like 20 episodes, and then he expects. Anyway,
so I found Phil, by the way, and Phil.
Right, the show was funny, John.
It was good.
Thanks.
It was very good. But you did a great job as game show host.
I knew it was coming.
It was funny. It was funny.
No, I thought you did a great job as game show host, especially like the 2-point at the end. That was great.
But,
thank you.
But
yeah,
who the fuck vetted those questions? They were wrong.
They were done by your wife.
Your wife, Marissa.
But like they were wrong.
Closely.
They were wrong. I'm like, what the hell?
When I was going through them,
which Tom are we talking about? This isn't Tom McDermott that we're talking about.
It's so funny. When I was reviewing the show, I was like, this is. I was like, I got to talk to Tom about some of these answers because I kind of there were some head scratchers in there.
Let's start with question number 1.
That was the easy one. Well, first of all, John,
what process did we go through?
Did it have to be multiple choice? Why wasn't it just like, let's really see who knows him and write the answer down?
I made the call to do multiple choice.
Just to give everybody a chance?
Well, I thought it would make the show go a little bit faster and organized.
Fair enough.
Versus like, someone saying like, well, like faded salmon is Tom. Just random
faded
stuff.
Salmon.
He did wear a salmon shirt recently.
Do not vote for me for Senate if I say faded salmon is
your
my favorite color.
You did wear a nice salmon shirt though. The Indeed Try.
Look at that. I got everyone beat me up. Now Marissa's in the chat. Why didn't Vesmar just ask
This is
Tom?
what Marissa, because I was like, that was a funny show, Marissa. She's like, I know. And I'm like, those answers were totally wrong, though. Like, dude, and I go, what happened? She goes, well, John gave it to me, and I was at work, and I was paying attention to other things. And she's like, why wouldn't John ask you? And I'm like, well,
Fair
you're my
question.
wife, I figure you might know like things like my favorite color. Although,
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Why I didn't go to you with these?
Yeah.
2 reasons. 1, you're super busy. 2,
nonetheless,
I thought Aaron would try and get to you.
Oh.
See, like, Marissa was under the impression John was going to get at me. John was under the impression Aaron was going to get at me. So what ends up happening is they do a whole show with fictional answers.
With false answers.
Now one person reaches out to me and says, hey, what's your favorite color? And I would say, blue. Not freaking green.
Yeah, you're wearing green right now.
Well, that doesn't mean you can wear.
I'm a Notre
John,
Dame
did you know
fan.
that you could wear colors other than your favorite? You just wear
my favorite. If
so
you
John,
notice,
John's must be black.
Yeah.
Because you happen to be wearing it right now, right?
Well, I'm wearing blue actually.
Okay.
Oh,
I can't see you behind.
Must be blue then.
Okay, so yeah, so my favorite color, not
you
green.
Mean everyone got that?
Everybody
got
was
wrong. Everybody was wrong. Yeah,
blue.
Okay,
all right.
So Tom orders a pizza. That was right. I ordered pepperoni, pineapple, and pepperoni.
All right.
Okay. All right. So number 3, my favorite movie. Everybody says Godfather.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Let's get back up to that other question. I saw the show notes today.
Uh-huh.
Someone wrote in there it was a poorly worded question.
Oh, because when Tom orders a pizza, what toppings does he put on it? It just sounded weird to me. I'd be like,
how would you ask it?
Cheese.
Smart guy.
What's Tom's
tomato sauce?
What? I guess maybe.
No, how would you ask the question?
When Tom orders pizza, what kind of pizza does he get?
Okay, that sounds dumb.
What kind of pizza
whatever.
does he order?
All right. Okay. So anyway, that was the one you guys got right, and we were like quibbling over it. Number 3, I joined the Navy after I saw Top Gun. I mean, I would have to say Top Gun.
Is it really?
See, I would have guessed Godfather. Actually, I
did like guessed, Godfather.
But
guessed, like, it's hard to say what your favorite movie is.
Fair enough.
Do you have a favorite movie?
I don't.
John,
like favorite.
I love
time,
The Godfather.
John?
Yeah, it's like
probably The Life Aquatic.
Over and
what
above
the hell
anything.
Is that?
Wes Anderson.
Yeah, Wes. Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell it is. Is that scary or something?
It's not scary.
No, it's
You're
funny.
laughing at me?
It's funny.
Sounds like.
Just add it to your watch list after the election.
So anyway, favorite movie? Okay, whatever. Godfather.
Bill Murray.
Sure. But I did join the Navy after I saw Top Gun.
What's funny is so Marissa answered what she thought was the correct answer for you, and then I just filled in the other 3 like randomly. So it's
those were
interesting
good.
that I picked Top Gun.
Good Will Hunting. I love that movie. Godfather, Top Gun, and Braveheart. I love them all. So,
All right.
and by the way,
any answer would have been good.
Wolf of Wall Street, I love also.
Oh.
Awesome. Go-to karaoke song is Tom Doesn't Do Karaoke, which is a solid answer.
I would have guessed that.
Right.
Yeah,
I would not. I would not. If I was going to do karaoke, I wouldn't be nervous about it. I would do something I knew by heart, like Tom Petty or something like that.
There you go.
Right. Or Grateful Dead. First concert, Kevin got that one right.
Yeah, man, this was
right off the bat. By the way,
boom.
we were in the car. Kevin's like Sammy Hagar. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
Kevin knows my life. It's awesome.
So that
He's
was
gonna be
good.
my biographer. First concert, we did that one. Tom's favorite ice cream flavor. That was right. Cookie dough.
I would not have guessed cookie dough on
Yeah.
that. I would have guessed mint chocolate chip.
One snack I can't live without. That was right.
So
rods.
I would have complained that Sour Patch Kids weren't on there because I know that's
Yeah,
a go-to for yours. But you know what? It's funny. I was watching the show with Charlie, and Charlie said, "It's pretzel rods, Dad. Every time I go to the McDermott's, they always have those pretzel rods in the canisters."
We
so
do.
Charlie
We do.
was on it.
I have honestly, I would eat them every night. I
And
love
Swedish
pretzel rods.
fish? You have a Swedish fish jar.
They do.
Yeah, we do. Doesn't mean I love them the most. I would go to pretzel rods first. I like salty snacks.
All right.
So, favorite TV show growing up? Who has a favorite TV show? Another one.
Yeah, it's.
I
They said
don't
Hawaii
think I
Five-0.
Hawaii Five-0. I don't think I watched that one time in my life. Not even one time. Not even the remake, by the way.
She typed that in.
Hawaii Five-0.
I wonder where she got that.
What
Where
the?
did she get
Who
that
watched
from?
Hawaii Five-0?
I was going to guess Charlie's Angels because we talked about
Charlie's
it on the pod a
Angels. I
long
would have
time
gone
ago.
with that. I would have gone with Charlie's
All right,
Angels.
that's what I would've gone with.
Three's Company I liked also. MASH.
Yeah.
Freaking hated MASH.
You didn't-
Hated MASH. Hated. So yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know what I would have thought of when I was a kid.
What high school I go to? Napa High School. That was
easy.
So
Yeah.
wait. My random fill-ins for multiple choice were more accurate than Marissa's.
for what?
Like you just named two. You were like Three's
Charlie's
Company.
Angels.
I like.
Yeah, Three's Company. I watched the most out of all of those. I watched Three's Company because I like
Every week.
What was it? Cheryl Summers. Oh, yeah.
Cheryl Summers. Yeah.
Oh yeah. When I was a kid, forget about it.
How much
It's like
of a
Charlie's Angels. I mean, how do you not?
Charlie's Angels.
Farrah Fawcett, Jacqueline Smith. I mean,
Remember that poster that Kevin used?
Yes, that
goes back to season
and I had
one.
and I
Disgusting.
still have my bank in here with my Charlie's Angels.
For those
stickers.
of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, back in season 1, Kevin was talking about the poster of Farrah Fawcett on his wall that he used when he was a kid.
He
We're
used
like,
the word used.
You used freaking. What does that mean? You nasty ass.
That's going a long
Hardcore
way
Lockpod
back.
fans
I've
will
gotten so much
remember
better
That's
here
right.
as a Lockpod caboose.
How much of a fracture has this caused in your household between you and Marissa?
About
Were you
this?
like, you don't even know me at all?
No, I didn't. These were tough questions.
These were.
By the way, I was trying to explain yesterday on Indianapolis TV why I'm a different person in Lockpod Studio than I in real life, and I sounded like a freaking idiot. I'm like,
What a
see,
hoot.
in
What a
there I'm
hoot."
the locomotive, and it's like, and the locomotive's different than the person you're talking to now, and she's looking at me like, you're
What are you
insane.
talking about?
You're running for U.S. Senate. You're
And
like
you're
a
calling
split
yourself a
personality.
locomotive.
I know. I was sitting there like, see, when I'm in the studio, the locomotive's different than like who I am right now.
She's just shaking her head like,
She's
like you do a crazy guy.
yeah,
like,
involuntarily committed right after that.
This was at the Fox thing?
No, it was the
Okay.
one before that. I did.
We're
two
gonna
of
get
them.
onto that.
Yeah, but yeah, she was looking at me like I was insane. But I was trying to explain, like, because when I'm in here, I was like, it's sort of like Colbert. It's like a different personality.
Sure.
I'm way more like
You're the host, kind of.
yeah,
You're
and
running
I'm
the
like
show.
I'm
You're-
like way more aggressive.
it's
than I'd
your
be in real
thing.
life.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
Unfiltered.
unfiltered. Yes. All right, last one.
Well,
Celebrity
wait.
crush.
Napa High was right?
Yeah, Napa High was right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not vintage.
No, not vintage. Not Napa Valley High. Not
Not Napa Central.
Central.
Vintage
No.
would have been the trick, John.
And then the last, this was impressive. Tom's celebrity crush, Pierce Brosnan. Are you freaking insane? Like, like John Hamm, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. I like Tom Cruise, but I don't like his personality. John Hamm, I love Don Draper as a character. Doesn't mean I like John Hamm. It's like Tony Soprano. I love Tony Soprano as a character. That doesn't
Not
mean,
man crush.
That doesn't mean James Gandolfini is my man crush,
Right.
right? So like, I love Don Draper.
R.I.P.
Don Draper's he's an awesome, right, John? I know
Incredible.
John feels the same
One
way
of my
about
favorite
this.
shows.
Mad Men. I was like stressed when it was about to end. Actually, I loved it so much. So I would say that John Cantrell was the right. And
Yeah, and that would have been my guess. That's what it came off
John
my
Mayer?
John Mayer. I would have
he
said 'cause I
busted
know,
that out and
Yeah,
decided
he
on
did.
the list.
Credit to John
Because
Wow.
I'm like a fanboy with John Mayer.
yeah.
I
Well,
like
I
get
remember
giddy.
that video that you posted.
I like get ticklish downstairs when I see him. So I don't know what that means.
So if
but-
you're at a Dead and Company show with Tom, just keep your distance
Just
from
keep
him.
your
when he-
distance.
when
Yeah,
John
just leave me
Mayer's
alone.
singing.
I love John Mayer and Brad Pitt also. By the way,
Yeah.
I do love Brad Pitt.
Good. Like it. Well,
He gives me butterflies.
Brad Pitt's the other one.
I love Brad Pitt.
So I guess the final.
There's not
thing
too many Brad
was-
Pitt movies I would miss.
There
So,
you go.
Right.
So yeah, Steve lost, and he has to go spend a night on Boy Scout Island, which, by the way, I thought was a great punishment. John.
It is a great punishment, but I think in this case, because of the inherent unfairness of the quiz and the fact that it wasn't vetted, I think it would be unfair for Steve to have to stay on Boy Scout Island. So, as mayor of the city, Hammond, I am enjoining Steve.
No, you should stay as locomotive of
as
Lockpod.
locomotive of Lockpod. I am enjoining Steve, but as mayor, I'm forbidding
You're granting
him
an injunction.
an injunction. Steve does not have to stay on Boy Scout Island.
So you're
by
enjoining the
decree
punishment.
of the mayor's office.
Wow.
Wow.
The
Right.
punishment has been enjoined.
It's been enjoined. Steve does not, because this is just simple mistakes that were made, and Steve can't be punished.
It's
you
like
know.
you basically pardoned him.
I did pardon him.
It's amazing.
A Lockpod
And any
injunction has been issued.
marijuana related offenses, Steve, I pardon those also. Okay.
I don't think he's got to worry about that.
Probably
Yeah, I
not.
think he's okay there. Steve is in chat. Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations.
Thank
By
you,
the way,
Steve. You're
Suzanne
welcome.
Summers.
Suzanne Summers. What did I say?
What did we say?
Cheryl?
Cheryl,
What did I say?
so yeah.
Yeah, Suzanne Summers loves her.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I need a picture of her.
So yeah, I apologize for being gone for the last couple of weeks, but I've been on the road. I didn't know if you knew I'm running for U.S. Senate, and it's 14 days away. It's election day. Just-
2 weeks as of today. Well, let's do some ads.
Okay.
And let's come back, and
All right.
we're going to go with Tom on the road. So
I'm
get
sure
the-
Lindsay
get
will be
the band
back
show-
anytime now, right?
I'm just waiting for that door to open.
Lindsay,
How about the
we're
Lindsay
waiting
cam,
for
John?
you.
How about a
Yeah.
Lindsay
Yeah,
cam?
let me give you that Lindsay
The
cam
Lindsay
right now.
cam.
Oh, that's sad.
Wah, wah, wah. Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo
Kinda nice, just like the
corazón.
fist in the air today. Tri Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Tri Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. They're dedicated to assisting their clients with their systems integration needs end to end. Tri Electronics has the experience and expertise to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Tri Electronics today at 800-722-6793.
Power in America. The Lake County Electricians Training Center is seeking applications for the Electrical Apprenticeship Program. If you are a person who enjoys working with your hands in a challenging and ever-changing environment, the Electrical Apprenticeship might be for you. This apprenticeship opportunity provides tuition-free education along with paid on-the-job training. Successful applicants will be looking to make long-term commitment to their new careers. To learn more about the apprenticeship programs, please visit apply697.com. That's APPLY697.com.
Yes, John?
If anyone wants to know how gone we are as a society, just get on social media.
That's true.
I want to point out our chat right now. This is a perfect example. Chat, by the way, chat is in a mood today. I don't know what it is. They're just excited. But someone's on here saying because Tom's wearing a green shirt, he supports Jennifer Ruth Green. And then, no, listen to this. Listen to this. Then there's actually people seriously responding going, no, he's not. It's
Notre
like there
Dame
is
law
a
shirt.
debate going on because of the green shirt.
Wow. First it was your favorite color. Now,
that.
yeah, there you go. Bring
Let's
this
go
on.
with that.
Jeez.
All right, let's
Oh
clear this
my
up right away.
God.
That is so funny.
Misprint Printing. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience in technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions and metal business cards. Rick Walzenberger and his team have flat. Oh, man.
Pete.
All right. Rick Waltz, he does do metal business cards, though. Rick Walzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and in Hammond. One more.
Calumet Brewing. We welcome you to try Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer brewed for those who understand it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a 4.2 ABV, Michelob Ultra is a light lager brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a light citrus aroma and a crisp, refreshing finish. Check out our social media for details on his great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Guess you
That's
can't
a tough
wear,
one.
Guess you can't wear any Notre Dame stuff anymore.
I know.
I'm sorry.
It's so sad.
I wanted to wear my.
ridiculous.
I'm
like
glad.
that shirt.
I'm
though.
representing.
That's solid.
This is
20. That's an old one.
Which year is it?
2017 summer tour.
Yeah, this is
Guess
the one.
not that old,
I did
5
this one
years.
at Wrigley Field.
Wow.
Randy
Solid.
Palmer. No, if I remember correctly.
Back when Randy was on the A team.
Randy was on the A team for a long time.
So on the
Some
road,
may say he still is on the A team.
maybe he may.
Some
he may
say
think so.
he's not.
Banjo, please.
Oh God.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
sorry.
Whoa.
I was looking at the
It's
chat.
like you're
He's
just like
flipping. He's like
he's
lost
like
his
in a
social
he's like in a
media.
daze over there.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's
I'm lost.
mesmerized by chat, and he's the one saying social media is just suck right into it though. Driving, moving down the road. Tom on the road. Mayor Tom on the
Mayor
road.
Tom on the road. Tuesday, October 18th. See, I missed the show. I don't know if... Well, I was on the show. I Skyped in on Tuesday. That was the show after the debate. And then I missed Friday. I know you guys know that. I apologize.
Yes.
But
Technically, you didn't. You were on for
You were
like
on.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
on...
When you said Sammy Hagar, you were confirming.
You're like
the
Kevin's
answer.
Oh, you're
right.
right,
He
you're
didn't.
right.
Right. We were both
You're right.
on like
Special
Phil.
appearance.
That was a good show, though. You guys did a good job.
It was
I
outstanding.
liked
It was fun.
It was fun. I'm glad that when I can't be here and Kevin and I couldn't be here that day, that you guys filled in a great show. I
Really,
thought it was
really
fun.
good. Really good.
If
show.
you haven't listened to it, it's completely worth it. It's pretty
Oh, yeah.
hilarious. Those guys together, we knew it would be a good show.
Mhm.
So anyway, so on the day I Skyped in, I was on my way. I was on my way to Vanderburgh County, which is, for those of you unaware, it's basically the southern border of the state. It's a 5-hour drive from Lake County.
I think you're in your hotel room because you spent the night there.
I was in my hotel room. You're right. I was in my hotel room that day. I got there Monday night after going to Terre Haute, but we talked about that. So anyway, I had a fundraiser in Boonville. Also,
Ooh.
Mayor Charlie Wyatt.
Great
Check
guy.
this out. So when Mayor Charlie is introducing me in Boonville, it's a room filled with, it's a fundraiser, but there's a lot of mine workers, which is a big union down in
Wow.
southern Indiana.
How cool.
Auto workers, which
Wow.
are huge unions in southern Indiana.
Really?
And steel workers.
I knew about mine workers, but I'd never really been to a mine event.
Right. No, in southern
And
Indiana.
auto workers down there.
Mine workers, auto workers, steel workers.
Wow.
In this room, and I'm getting introduced by the mayor, who I've known for, I think he's in his second or third term, so we've known each other a while.
Great guy.
Mayor Charlie, real good guy. He's introducing me, and I don't know what he's going to say, obviously, and he holds up the mailer that the United Steelworkers sent out, statewide, by the way, and they have hundreds of thousands of members. And he held up the mailer and basically said, the United Steelworkers endorsed Tom McDermott for the United States Senate. I want all the mine workers and auto workers and steel workers to know that. And if he's good enough for my union, because he's a retired steel worker, he's going to be a great U.S. Senator. It was an awesome
That's
introduction.
awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, UAW has endorsed you in mine.
Right.
So,
I mean, the mine workers, auto workers, and steel workers, they roll together.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Especially in southern Indiana.
Very cool by Mayor Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. Little trip to Boonville.
Yeah, Boonville's a nice little drive from Evansville, probably half hour, 40 minutes. And then, so I did that, and then came back to Boonville. I was the keynote speaker at the Vanderburgh County
In Evansville.
dinner in Evansville. Stayed the second night in Vanderburgh, so I was on the road.
Thank you, Chairwoman Cheryl. Great
I was
job.
on the road from Thursday to Wednesday, which
Yeah, you
sucked.
were.
That was my
Yes.
longest trip of the campaign so far. 6 days on the road, 6 days in hotels.
Get ready.
Yeah,
More coming.
I know. So anyway, Wednesday, the next day, I pick up and drove home from Evansville, which is a nice little drive. Talked on the phone like the whole way. It was so quick how fast I got home, and I was in my Mustang, by the way. Did the women's tour in Lake County, and basically that's why I was on the road, is the women's tour, contract with women. And then I did Mayor's Night Out, did my mayorly duties in Hammond, and got my freaking ass handed
Just
to
to
me.
remind you what
God damn.
Just to remind
It's
you
like,
where you're really
home.
from.
Welcome home.
Thank you, Hammond.
And then, like, the 5th District is my district. It's where I live in Hammond. And I would think that 5th District, I'm going to be solid. It's going to be easy Mayor's Night. It was difficult.
Councilman Werple, who's the councilman of the 5th District, of course, was saying it was infiltrated by people from other districts.
Yeah, he did say that because I was bitching at him. I'm like, what the hell,
He said,
Warple?
the mayor's pissed at me, and I was like, these
Yeah,
aren't
it was.
these aren't even my district.
I'm like,
they
what
don't
the
even
hell are
live
you
here.
doing in your district, dude? I'm getting my ass kicked, Dave. It's like, I rely on you guys.
great.
And he was like, it's not me. Those guys are from the 4th. And those are from the 6th. He's like,
blaming
getting
other-
all defensive.
Blaming other parts of the city.
You
Yeah.
should have to show your ID to make sure you're from that district.
That's some Republican shit right there.
Yeah, it
John.
is.
Excuse me, where's your ID? Oh, you're from the 6th. You got to get the hell out of
No,
here.
That's next
seriously.
month.
District.
It's an equally represented Mayor's Night Out. You go to each district. Why can't it just be like, this is for this district?
I agree with you. They're spamming. It's like,
Yeah.
Spamming it. Well,
They're spamming it, you know.
they want to come out and talk about issues.
I agree. I'm being funny. I'm glad everybody shows up to Mayor's Night.
Absolutely.
And it's called accountability, and I talk about this on the campaign trail that Todd Young isn't accountable at all.
Or
So,
transparent.
this is what it's about, man. I got my ass kicked that night.
That is it's a raw visual, and I mean, if you're there, it's talk about unfiltered. I mean, Mayor takes all the questions, he sits there and deals with complaints, and a lot of compliments too. It wasn't all just.
I was talking to a friend a couple days ago about how like I'm in different modes. Like as mayor, I'm different than as actual Tom, and I'm different than candidate Tom.
Sure.
Candidate Tom's a lot different than Mayor Tom, right, Kevin?
I agree.
Kevin knows me really well because Mayor Tom's more of a pain in the ass.
Well, I mean, you know the job. You've been there 19
John?
years.
Well,
19 years.
Right?
I mean,
When I'm in mayor mode, I'm a different person than when I'm
I
Tom,
think
regular Tom, like hanging out with you guys.
what I would say about Mayor Tom is that Mayor Tom kind of demands a lot from his employees, demands a lot from his
He's a
department
pain in
heads,
the
and
ass.
expects
that person's a pain in the ass.
expects
Right.
great work.
But I'm not being Mayor Tom right now. I'm
No,
just being
you're
myself.
Tom.
Like when I'm in Lockpot Studio as
You're
the locomotive,
you're Tom.
I'm real Tom.
You
right?
really are.
Although I am way more flamboyant in the studio than I am in real life.
Yeah, and there's a
Flamboyant.
little bit of
Flamboyant, meaning I'm more like in your face in the
Sure.
studio. Like I'm not like this in real life, John. You know that, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I
Yes.
think
When
this
we're
is-
out, like when we're hanging in, like
Yeah,
when
you're
we're on
not- you're
vacation,
right.
I'm not like
No.
drawing attention to myself. I don't do that. But in here, I'm like.
there's a little bit of a different, like, real Tom than we get here too.
So the mayor's the hard ass. The candidate Tom. So candidate Tom was on display at Mayor's Night the other day. Nicest freaking guy in the world, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's his friend. Like even my enemies, I'm friends with candidate Tom.
Yes.
I should be candidate Tom all the time. Everybody loves candidate Tom.
I mean, candidate Tom's on the campaign trail.
Candidate Tom
Candidate
is like.
Tom is
So the other
running
day,
for office.
by the way, so like we were talking about Ken, who is really upset with me over a decision we're making, and candidate Tom in Mayor's Night Out was telling Ken how valuable he is to him and how much I appreciate him, and it's a nice thing to say, and I meant it, by the way. I'm not being an asshole by saying this. I meant that. I really appreciate Ken's devotion to the city. He's really trying hard. He's fighting for something he believes in. That's what it's all about. I don't agree with him on this case, but like. We need more Kens in Hammond, and that's. What
I think you were being genuine about.
I was
that, for
being
sure.
genuine, and I think I would hope he was being genuine when he said he wants me to win. Probably because he wants to get rid of me, but nonetheless,
We're not asking about what his reasons were for saying.
He
that.
mentioned I was a deadhead, also.
He did. He
Which
said
is-
from one deadhead to another.
That's nice, and a Navy guy.
And a Navy.
And
a
then
bubblehead.
there's the real Tom though.
What's
the one
that?
like you'll sit and read a book.
Yeah,
by the
no,
pool.
that's real Tom.
Wants
is
to be
quiet.
kind of by himself.
Quiet.
Real
yeah.
Tom is quiet. That's when I'm like real Tom is quiet, like low key. That's the real Tom. Like that's the guy when I get home versus like, who is this guy? You've been out all day like charming people, and then you come home and you sit on the couch and like vegetate.
Go for a swim.
Right.
No.
Real quick in chat, Matt. When we bring James on, we will be looking at chat for questions, and we will bring them up.
Awesome.
if they
Yeah,
are-
good.
they
All
are-
So
right.
let's cruise through because we
Yes,
got to get
yes,
through
yes.
this. Okay, so we did what day? We
So
did
then
Wednesday.
yep.
Thursday, Fort Wayne. Went out there with the Contract with Women tour. After Fort Wayne stop, I'm doing multiple media, by the way, while I'm doing all this. I'm getting interviewed by TV and radio. And then I did South Bend on the way back. Then Friday, we did Bloomington.
We also
Contract-
spoke at Crown Point at Lake County.
Lake
big-
County fundraiser.
Hundreds of people there. Great event by Chairman Weiser and really good.
Contract with Women tour in IU.
We got some pictures on there. We have a photo of a gentleman who the mayor kind of befriended. He's a nice kid. 55,000
Hunter.
Twitter followers. Hunter.
Colin.
55,000 Twitter followers, John.
55,000 Twitter followers. Hunter Colin. Nice kid.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an IU student, and he attended. And then
Beautiful
Paula
day, by
Celine,
the way, down there.
a great band that my son Tommy was playing in for a while, and we're good friends with Jay Leeser and his boys. And Ethan, who is the lead guitarist, and Evan was there. And it was basically Apollo Celine played a gig at IU, and a bunch of students came out and listened. We had the whole ticket there.
Great work, Ethan, on the modified lyrics for Southern Man. That was great.
Yeah, that was great.
It's funny.
And then, so Kevin and I did headquarters stop by Monroe County, and then we swung through Bartholomew County, which is Columbus, Indiana, on the way back.
Got to stop at Buffalo's for lunch. That was
Contract with Women stop. So we've been doing a lot. And then yesterday, I did a down and back to Indianapolis, where I did 2 interviews. I did one interview on WTHR TV 13 in Indy. I got interviewed for a half hour by Emily Longnecker, and that's a good interview that she did with me. It was like asking questions that you would never ask me. She asked me, am I a dog or a cat person? She was asking me just
that's
like,
great.
what's your
Casual.
favorite band? And I talked about how I listen to rap, and she was interested. And then she's like, well, what's your favorite band? And I said, bam, Grateful Dead. So I got a lot of Deadhead votes there.
Right here.
Very nice.
This was
Yeah,
there
that
she
was
is.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then so I did that one, and then I turned around and went to Fox in Indianapolis, and I was live on the air for a half hour on the air with Dan Spieler, and then but I was in the studio for an hour.
Yeah, so this was an interesting setup, right? So this was Tom live. Todd Young had been taped and had like his stuff first. I guess they played Todd Young's questions and answers first, and then Tom went in and he was live, just like boom, boom, boom. The thing I was amazed with Dan, and Dan Spaler's interviewed you before, it was like just like rapid fire and follow up. And he was like, it was like, whoa.
And so multiple media members were asking multiple different questions, and yeah, I was live on the air, so they would go from global warming to marijuana to, like it was just a bam, 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 immigration.
Here's a great, you mentioned immigration. Here's your answer on immigration. This is an example.
One of our viewers asked Senator Young as well about his votes to send military aid and support to Ukraine as they face this invasion from Russia. Where do you stand on that issue? Would you continue to support funding for the war effort? Are you at all concerned about accounting for the money that's already been sent to Ukraine?
I support sending arms to Ukraine, absolutely. Being a Navy submariner for 6 years.
Arms and money.
Yeah, arms and money, absolutely. I think that Russia is our military enemy. They've been our military enemy since the Cold War began. When I was in the Navy, for the 6 years I was in, that's all we did was chase Russian subs, and Russian subs chase us. Russia is off the coast of America right now pointing nuclear weapons at our city, just like we're off the coast of Russia right now pointing nuclear weapons at their city. Todd Young wants to talk about China. Listen, China is our financial enemy. I think China wants to take us over financially. Russia wants to nuke bomb Ukraine. Russia is pointing nuclear weapons at America right now. Russia is our true enemy. And right now, Ukraine needs our help, and we can't let Russia just come over and take over a free country.
Yeah, sorry. I think I said that was the immigration clip, but that was the Ukraine clip. So nice job.
Do you want
Good
the
work.
immigration clip?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
I have it.
And so, like, I don't know if you noticed,
So this
but, like,
is live in Indianapolis, live on the air.
streamed everywhere, though. Like,
Yeah.
I got it up here streaming.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I was
Nice.
able to watch it as you
Awesome.
were doing it. And actually, that last clip was a good example of Dan kind of like asking questions even within your answer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was good.
Young and others in the GOP have pointed to that issue recently, calling for further security along our southern border. What should Congress do to deal with this fentanyl crisis that we've been seeing around the country?
We need a hardened border, and we need comprehensive immigration reform. And these are things that we sent Todd Young to Washington, D.C. in 2010 to accomplish. And here we are 12 years later, and all we get from Senator Young are this is his top priority in his campaign commercials.
Boom.
But the fact is he's had multiple opportunities to pass comprehensive immigration reform, and he's failed. He's chosen other items instead, like tax cuts. But the fact is, I'm married to an immigrant. My wife, Marissa, immigrated to America, got her green card, did it legally, and I support legal immigration. And I believe in America being the melting pot. I do not support illegal immigration. I think we need to enforce our border laws and make our border strong.
Oh, that was a great answer. And by the way, nice swivel to the camera.
I know, right?
That was
I
solid.
noticed that.
That was so
was
solid
great.
at the
It
beginning.
was easy in there because their cameras light up really
And
well.
those
You could
chairs
tell.
look nice and swivelly.
Yeah, I never know because my feet hang in the air. So like I look like a little kid sitting at a table. So
That's great.
I
You got
did
that-
1 foot on the ground, 1 foot on the upper part of the chair. So
Yeah, I thought that was a nice swivel.
yeah.
I thought it was good.
That's good,
Yeah.
man. I'm a
John,
vet.
before we go to ads, I want to show. Can you show that photo of JFK and the mayor real quick? 'Cause
Yes.
This was such a funny story.
This is a funny story.
This is such a funny story. So we're down in. By the way, we didn't give enough credit to Chairman Steve and Bartholomew County Democrats. They packed that
Yeah.
room at their headquarters, and T-shirts and signs were just flying out that place. It was packed. So Tom sees this cutout of JFK, and he's like, "I want to do this thing with Drew." And so Drew goes behind and is JFK, and he's like, "Just put your arm around me." And I was like, "The only problem is now JFK's got 4 hands."
Yeah, JFK has 2 arms. Yeah.
That's great.
But that's a
Yeah.
great picture. Good work by Drew
Yeah.
Anderson.
I needed to block that arm out. If I blocked that arm out, it would have been perfect.
Solid.
Yeah.
And by the way, JFK was like a giant.
Yeah.
Because you're not. You
Yeah.
guys are probably about the same size.
Probably.
Yeah.
So
That was cool.
All right, let's do some ads, and we're going to come back with James Sceniak, candidate, Libertarian candidate for United States Senate. It's going to be our guest.
And competitor of Mayor Tom.
That's right. So let's go ahead and start the ads. We'll be right back with James Sceniak. Byway Brewing. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and an outside patio. Our brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private events like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. We are conveniently located just off 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer.
Prestmer Insurance Company. The Ron J. Prestmer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestmer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all over Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103.
Chris Jones at Properties. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Chris Jones at Properties.
Oh my God.
Looking to buy your dream home? Question mark. Chris Jones with at Properties can help. All across Northwest Indiana, it's still a great time to buy, with inventory available spanning all price ranges. And if you're considering a sale, Chris Jones will get your house sold. To reach the #1 brokerage in the Chicagoland area, contact Chris Jones at Chris Jones, one word, the at symbol, at properties.com. That's Chris Jones, the at symbol, then the letters atproperties.com. I'm going to say it again, asshole. All right, so like Chris is trying to get people to come here. Okay, this is very complicated. So contact Chris Jones at Chris Jones, the at symbol, at properties.com. That's Chris Jones, the at symbol, then the letters atproperties.com.
Thank
Just
you,
play
Chris.
it back slowly. You'll be there.
Cantrell and Cantrell Attorneys at Law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who's in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you. Thank you to our sponsors, and welcome to James.
Hey, James Sceniak, Libertarian candidate for United States Senate. Welcome to Lockpod, sir.
Hey, good morning, Mayor. Good to be with you. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate being here.
Fresh off like national Fox business with Kennedy last night, and now you're on Lockpod. We tend to we want to think this is a more important visit for you.
I mean, I believe it might reach more Hoosiers, so we'll see. I don't know.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. James and I got to know each other really well earlier in the year when we traveled across the state together, right?
Yeah, and it was amazing to see both candidates do a lot of the grassroots movements, really do what politicians should do, and that's travel where they want to represent. And so I don't even know how many counties you've hit, but my campaign, we've hit most of the counties in Indiana, so I'm really happy about that.
James, you're working. There's no doubt in my mind you're working hard. I see you all over the place, and and you're a gentleman. I really appreciate you, and I know that sometimes things get weird on the campaign trail, but I really appreciate meeting you, and I think you've done a great job as a candidate. I really have. And that's coming from my heart. So I appreciate you coming on Lockpod as well.
Well, I think conversations need to happen across aisles, and I believe that's really how politics should work. Obviously, sometimes on the trail, you have disagreements, and that's why we have opponents. But ultimately, we're all Hoosiers first, and we want to see Indiana succeed, and we want to see the American dream for American people.
James, I was reading a little bit about you, and I've been able to meet you on the trail, too, and I echo what Tom said, what a gentleman you are. And some of the things that got me were that, you grew up in a conservative family with 5 brothers and sisters in northern Indiana, and you've always been a very community-oriented person. You worked in a nursing home, and after you got out of college from Bethel University, you now work with autism as a behavior therapist, I think, right?
Yes, sir. Community has always been a part of my life, and that's one thing that I really like about my career is that I get to help those in the autism community, and I get to help them thrive. So definitely one of the most rewarding things about what I'm doing right now.
So where'd you grow up, James?
I grew up in northern Indiana, Elkhart, the RV industry. My father was from Gary, Indiana, and then my mom was from, she's always been in the Elkhart area.
Did you want to get into elected office when you were a young man growing up, or did this something come on recently?
So originally I wanted to be a pastor of a church, and that wasn't the path for me. Politics, I was always interested in as a kid. My mom homeschooled me, was very hands-on learning. So to learn about the government, it was all about campaigning. It was about meeting candidates, understanding what grassroots movement was. And so with my education, I really appreciated my mom and that hands-on effort. And that really is what stirred the pot to get me involved in politics.
What led you to the Libertarian Party versus another party?
So I come from the Republican Party, and I was really frustrated with what I saw in the direction that they're headed, and especially um, the promises of lower taxes and smaller government. Those things I really hold valuable to me. And the Libertarian Party, when I was looking at alternative parties, I believe that with both the Republicans and the Democrats, and um, they're always looking for more government solutions. And I believe as libertarians, sometimes we take the idea and the philosophy that sometimes it's a little bit less government that's needed for us to thrive. And that was the only party that I really saw pushing forward with that. And also on the civil liberties side, Republicans are terrible on civil liberties. And so I really wanted a party that really held those values. And I believe the Libertarian Party does that.
So you and I, first off, you and I didn't coordinate at all before the debate, right? I know that. I just want to, right. So, but I found it was interesting when we both get into the debate, we had similar criticisms of Senator Young in regards to his spending habits since he's been a senator. Do you mind talking about that a little bit? Or, because I know it really, coming from where you just said, that's what led me into this.
Yeah, so Todd Young is spending a lot, and I mean things like the CHIP Act, and then a lot with the inflation. But even Trump administration, they pushed a lot of spending, and to me, that's why we're seeing the direct inflation rates. And there's other causes of inflation such as supply chain, and he's not even addressing those issues. But the reality is when Washington's spending so much money, they're going to have to continually print money. And one of the best analogies I like to point out is when we're printing money, money is basically a government promise. And so let's take our neighbors, for example. If we have a neighbor that's promising everybody that they're going to help them move on a certain Saturday, people recognize that that person is not going to be able to help everybody move. So he has to go. Ultimately, that promise has failed. And that's what I believe the dollar is doing. It's failing its promise of value to the American people. And that's because of that spending. And Todd Young, he claims to be conservative, but his spending habits is not conservative at all. And it's concerning to me.
I think I got a kick out of a tweet that was put up by Rob Kendall, who's a conservative indie radio host who has also been railing against Todd Young as not really a true Republican, and that he spends just crazy. And his tweet yesterday said, Sceniak for Senate calling Todd Young Duke of Spendingburg on Kennedy Nation. More than made up for any shortcomings in the debate. We need more people on cable TV talking about Todd Young's atrocious mismanagement of your money. Good work, James. So you got a shout out by Rob Kendall.
I appreciate Rob Kendall in doing that. But that's just it. I feel like the media has actually neglected Hoosiers and not really shown what Todd Young has done in Washington. And I believe that media needs to be more accountable and hold our politicians to a higher standard. So
I agree with you, James. The national media's narrative about Indiana, I don't feel is accurate. They just sort of dismiss everything. They're like, oh, Todd Young's got $5 million. It's an easy re-election for Todd Young. It has nothing to do with the issues that Todd Young has taken a stance on. It has nothing to do with how Hoosiers feel about Todd Young. It's like a money raising contest, and Todd Young has obviously won the money raising contest.
Yeah, and I think what I've heard on the trail when I've been out when you guys have both been in the same place, people are saying like, James seems to be like the real conservative. He's the one who is the one talking about real conservative values.
No doubt about it.
Not Todd Young. And I think, James, you've said that. You said I'm the true conservative here.
I am fiscally conservative. I believe that I'm the option when it comes to the traditional Republican conservative of finances, and I don't believe Todd Young represents that at all. And back to what you said about the national media, they've all put it as red, and I think that's doesn't do Hoosiers fair, because they're saying that Todd Young can just buy the election.
I agree with you,
but
James.
the reality is I've heard it said by the Democrats a lot, but we aren't as red as people want to make us to be. For example, Obama won here. So Hoosiers vote independently, and they're not going to – no vote is guaranteed to a certain party. So I would like to see the national media change the conversation and how we need to run the races in Indiana.
I think that if you and I do well on November 8th, then the narrative is going to change automatically. So let's do that together, James. And while we're talking about Rob Kendall, I also brought up Rob Kendall at the debate as well. Rob Kendall's, I know Rob really, really loves James's candidacy. He does a good job. And I don't know if Rob's self-identified libertarian, but I know you're Rob's candidate. And one of the things that Rob did, he posted a few months ago, I talked about on the campaign trail when Todd Young talked about how transparent he is. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? It was Rob Kendall I was talking about.
That was the what a hoot comment.
The one a hoot. Yeah, because Rob Kendall was in the audience taping Todd Young, his U.S. senator, and Todd Young had one of his goons come over and tell Rob to put the phone down.
Right. We're not videotaping the senator today.
We're not videotaping today. So Rob Kendall's been a presence in this race for sure. I know he's a big presence for James, and
going back to the debate, we got a kick out of Tom saying what a hoot. But I personally, and I know other people got a big kick out of you self-identifying as a Hufflepuff. So maybe you could you.
I didn't know what that was, James.
Could you please tell us when you decided like you were going to do that, and why do you self-identify as a Hufflepuff?
It was actually a last-minute decision. I was thinking about it the night before, and part of the decision to put it in the debate is I really want young voters to come out and understand that politicians aren't so out of touch, that we do have connections, and it's important for us to understand where young voters are at. And my generation grew up on Harry Potter. So Hufflepuffs, I love the Hufflepuff. And first off, I don't know if you know this, but their colors are yellow and black. Libertarians are yellow.
Nice.
But the reason they're yellow and black is wheat for yellow and then black for earth. And so they're really about taking care of the earth. They're about hardworking, loyalty, modest. And I believe that a lot of those qualities represent me as a person. And so when we talk about the four houses, I definitely think that the Hufflepuff best describes me.
There you go.
Okay. I'm not sure which one I would be, but
or what Todd Young would be. We don't know.
Well, someone's in chat and said,
well, Todd Young's a muggle.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thank you.
Somebody said that,
That doesn't
chat
sound
last time.
good.
No, you're just a human. You don't get any house, right? That's great. That's great.
What were you going to say, John?
Someone in chat said Todd Young is a muggle. Would you agree, James?
Nope. He's saying yes.
So there you go.
I beat it to it. So yes, definitely.
And
Nice.
there's another question in chat. Speaking of, you guys are talking about media a lot. Tom, why? This question is for Tom. My question is why you allowed Nexstar Broadcasting to exclude James. Can you elaborate on what they're referring to?
I'll be honest with you. Until I got there yesterday, and James,
we're talking about Fox 59 Forum.
Yeah, I was on the Senate forum that we just showed last night. And I wasn't aware that James wasn't going to be on there, being honest with you. I showed up, and I expected James, and I said, was James in studio? Because I knew that Todd wasn't in studio. And I said, is James in studio? And they said, no, James isn't in this one. And I was actually stunned when I got there. I don't think that's fair, personally. And, I like James. And, I got to know James well in the last year, and I got to meet his parents, and I think he's a great guy, and I think I know he's working hard. So I don't like anybody getting excluded, and James is a real candidate, working real hard, and I didn't think it was fair personally, but
there you go.
It wasn't really my place to tell Fox.
You're running a race too,
right?
You can't be like, hey, listen,
I'm
boycotting.
This is how it goes, Fox. So
well, it's definitely in your best interest to take that, even though they excluded some people from the ballot. But I believe if you qualify for the ballot, these forums. And because you're a real option to Hoosier voters. And it was discouraging to see a major media exclude the Libertarians in my campaign after all the work we put into it.
I agree with you. The Libertarian in the last governor's race got 11% of the vote, James. Is that true?
Yeah, almost 12%. So, that's 1 out of 10 voters that are looking at the Libertarian option.
So, James, what do you say to people who, obviously nationally, Libertarian Party, they've had only one person in Congress that's ever been a congressperson it wasn't elected. He just switched parties from Republican to Libertarian. One person in the Wyoming legislature, I think, was the first victory in about 12 years for the Libertarians to get somebody seated in the state house. What do you say to people that say, oh, I'm just throwing my vote away if I vote Libertarian? Because, we know that's not true, but what do you say to people who say that to you?
That's the conversation that we have to battle. And, let's go back to the Harry Potter houses. There's 4 houses, right? Not everybody identifies with one of 2 houses. So there's 4 houses in this case. And I believe that a lot of young Americans don't identify with the Republicans or the Democrats. So they're looking for other options. And so a wasted vote is really only about voting for something you don't believe in. So if you don't believe in, I believe the wasted vote here is voting for Todd Young, because Todd Young, many Republicans here in Indiana claim to be conservative, claim to want fiscal sanity, but yet they're still going to vote for a Republican who won't represent them in Washington, D.C., who actually a lot of times will side, like the CHIP Act, with a bipartisan CHIP Act. And so I believe the wasted vote is actually voting for something you don't believe in. And that, as libertarians, we have to show that we're real candidates. And that's what I wanted to do this whole election cycle.
James, I know, and I wouldn't ask you which part of the state you've never been to before, because that's bad form. And I know there's parts of Indiana you haven't seen before, because all of us are statewide candidates for the first time. Tell me the part of the state that's shocked you, how gorgeous it is, and how much you think about living there, besides Hammond, of course.
Well, so I grew up in northern Indiana, so I was very familiar with it. Central Indiana, I've lived here for now 5 years, but southern Indiana really surprised me and shocked me. And driving down there, the hills and just the beauty that I've seen. And in fact, I think I was in Nashville, and I was like, if I didn't live in Indianapolis, I think I'd choose Nashville right now.
That's so funny.
We just
James.
rolled through there too.
We rolled through Nashville, and I said the same exact thing. I'm like, you know what? Nashville is so close to Columbus, Indianapolis. It's close to IU. You're right there in the Hoosier National Forest. Nashville's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's so gorgeous. And I might consider it at some point, but Nashville really.
That's
really
so funny, James.
cake.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
We were right through there.
I got asked that question about 6 months ago. I said Cicero shocked me, but since Nashville is so gorgeous. Nashville, Indiana, we're talking about. It's gorgeous, right in the middle
Brown
of the
County.
National Forest. Brown County is so awesome.
Same thing. Like I every time I go to Columbus, I'm amazed on how
Columbus
cool
is
Columbus.
awesome.
It's just it just seems like a really nice city to live in. Like,
Yeah, I
so
agree.
livable, and it's got
You're
great-
an hour from Louisville, hour from Indianapolis.
You're right by the Hoosier National Forest. You're
Right.
close to Nashville. It's
Right.
beautiful. So.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Well, listen, James, I appreciate you coming on. I know Tom does as well.
I do.
It's great to, I think, give Hoosiers the ability to see candidates together, to know that they're, at the end of the day, they're working for Hoosiers to try to get their vote, number one, but also just to get the issues out there and discuss them.
I believe coming to the table is where it's at, and we need more politicians who are willing to have these conversations, even with opponents that sometimes we disagree with. But the reality is putting forth the issues that matter most to Hoosiers. And I appreciate you having me on and willing to have this conversation.
Appreciate you too. When this is over, let's go out and have a beer, okay, bud?
I agree. Maybe we'll go to Illinois.
Yeah, let's go. We'll go to Illinois. And we'll have a beer in Illinois. I love it. Thank you, James.
All right,
See you, buddy.
everyone.
Thanks.
That's great.
That's
great.
awesome.
I think John's
screw the
over
beer.
there.
Let's go to Illinois. I love
John's
it.
over there trying to figure out what maybe I should be a libertarian.
Yeah. I think, honestly, James, if you're, like you said, if you're the true conservative and you're really looking for a conservative candidate, I agree.
I mean,
think
John,
James-
I don't know how
James
many
is the
times,
guy.
right, John, on the pod you said Indiana Republicans are not real Republicans. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. So
Does he speak to you, John, when he's talking like that?
Yeah, if you guys remember when we were talking about the debate, one of the things I mentioned was, keeping the back of your mind while you're up there is Todd Young's not the true conservative on
You
the
did say that
stage.
to me. I had your notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We didn't ask James about the debate, how much he prepped.
Oh, I forgot to ask
Yeah,
that
it's
question.
all right. That was a good interview. It was
That was
nice.
interesting.
He's a nice guy. He really is. And I learned a lot more about Harry Potter than I ever thought of.
I had to ask that question.
It was good.
I had to ask that question.
Honestly, God, though. I mean, I did probably 10 stops with James across the state. And these are stops, in all corners of the state. So, we had to all drive hours to get to these stops. And he was at every one. He's a gentleman. He's not. I never seen him lose his temper with anybody. I saw him work in the room.
He's always got kind of like a granola crowd with him, too.
Yeah.
they kind of follow along. So.
Yeah. I agree.
granola crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's that?
They smoke weed.
I don't know. I just meant kind of I don't want to say hippies, but you know what I mean? Just very earthy, granola.
What is it? My definition of a libertarian is a Republican that smokes weed. That was.
I think to me, a libertarian is just a true believer in less government, and it's hard to have
And a high correlation of them smoke weed.
Yeah, I would absolutely. I would think yes.
But I mean,
because that's
I don't
less
know,
government. Do what you want.
He wanted to be a pastor. He went to Bethel. He
Yeah.
may not be a weed smoking libertarian.
I think
He
might
did say,
be.
"Let's go to Illinois." Though.
I was about to say we ended
John.
talking about going to Illinois. I think it's fair
I
to
think
say
he gave it away.
He may partake.
Yeah.
Legally in Illinois only, of course.
Yep. So well,
That's James Sceniak,
Yeah.
Libertarian candidate for United States Senate, and a gentleman. And it was great to talk to him.
It was nice to have him on Lockpod. It was
Isn't
really
it nice
good.
that candidates could be nice to each other like that? I mean, I offered Todd Young to come on the show, and he declined.
Well, I mean, it was after you offered to beat him up in a boxing match.
But he had an opportunity to be on Belgium's top-rated podcast.
That's true.
And he turned it down.
Yeah, maybe
Right?
He doesn't think he needs the Belgian vote.
Obviously,
in Indiana.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, and he got to tape his. I mean, do you think it was like he didn't get to take take after take? They just taped him straight through, or?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
If he screwed up, if it was being taped, I'd be like, let's start.
Dan, let me start over that. Let me start that question over.
I didn't like the way that one came out. Yeah.
That Abe Lincoln joke fell flat. All right, we'll wrap us up.
Let's
Welcome
wrap
back
up.
to the studio.
It is great to be back. I'll be back on Friday. Looking forward to it. We're wrapping up. We only have. So, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we only have 4 shows left.
Yeah.
We got Friday, Tuesday, Friday,
And
Tuesday, Wednesday. So, Election Day, we're having Lockpod normal Tuesday show, and then the last show of the season is on November 9th, the day after Election Day.
Day after election. Be here in the morning.
I'll either be high-fiving and we'll be celebrating, or I'll be crying into
Election
my
Day's
microphone.
on a kind of a maybe, but we'll see.
What are you talking about? We got to do it.
We got to discuss that.
No, we got to.
So wait though, win or lose, you're coming on the air.
Yeah.
the next
Wednesday.
day.
And by the way, I'm
November
in
9th.
Indianapolis.
Wow.
I got talked into Indianapolis for election night because that's where the media is, and I understood. And I'm part of a team, and I can't be part of a
Such a good
team
team
if I'm
player.
up there. So I went down there, but I am driving back, win or lose. I'm coming back to the studio and doing my pod that day.
Mhm.
And
You
it's
heard it
not
here.
Skype. I'm coming into the studio to do it. So
All right.
I'm going
There
to be
it
here
is.
on election day. If you can't, I understand. But
No, I just think you might. All right.
that's
we'll
the second
talk
to the
about
last.
it.
That's the second to the last.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a thing on election day. I'm not gonna break.
We usually
my-
do the evening, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
We don't usually do the morning, but
Anyway, thanks for listening to Lockpod. Now you understand why we are Belgium's top-rated podcast, everybody.
All this
You've been hearing
excitement.
from the Locomotive and from the Caboose. Jay Vez, our technical advisor,
good work again today by the
consultant,
producer.
right?
Thank you. That feed started freaking out though. Did you notice that?
Yeah, just a little bit though.
So I hope it's all good.
I think
in
it
the recorded
did. It
version.
sounded
I would
good.
say 98% it was great.
And then the absent notorious LMP.
Lindsay Cam, please.
Boom. Thank you,
There
Lindsay.
she is. Great work, Lindsay.
That's all I gotta say.
That's what
the
your
name
dad's
of the
got to say
episode.
to you.
That's all
That's
I
the
gotta
name of
say.
the episode.
That's all she needs to hear. She's
How
like,
do you
I'm in
spell that?
trouble.
Yeah.
PSH featuring James Sceniak.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening to Belgium's Top Rated Podcast. Lockpod will be back on the air Friday. We are out. See you Friday, everybody. Lockpod out.